A good night of Shabbos, everyone. A happy Pesach Sheni. Today is Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni, we know, the Hayomim tells us the lesson of Pesach Sheni is Nishta came for fallen. There's never a lost cause, a lost chance. A person could always make it up. How did Pesach Sheni come about? There were Jews that were unable to bring the Karban Pesach in its time. And they cried out to the Eibusha. They said, Lama Nigada, why should we lose out? They were involved in good things, whatever it might be. There's different opinions who they are. They weren't necessarily doing anything wrong. They were helping out other Jews. They were impure because they were dealing with people that needed to be buried. But nevertheless, they lost out a chance to do a mitzvah. So they cried out, why should we lose out? And the Eibusha accepted their complaint. And because of those Jews, for all future generations, all the Jewish people as a whole have a new Yom Tov, Pesach Sheni, which in the times of the Beis HaMikdash meant that someone that didn't bring the Karban Pesach in its time, he wasn't able to bring it, or even if he didn't bring it purposely, could bring the Karban Pesach in Pesach Sheni. And this is now a Yom Tov that even those Jews that did bring the Karban Pesach in the first time still celebrated Pesach. They didn't have to bring a Karban Pesach, but it's still a special day. We don't say Tachanun, it's still a celebration. So we see that a few Jews were really bothered about something. They cried out to the Eibusha about it, were able to accomplish something new for all the Jewish people, for all future generations. It became a mitzvah of the Torah. What is the lesson to us? The lesson to us is that sometimes a person could say, if I miss the opportunity, that's what the Eibusha wanted. Why? Listen, I just should accept it the way it is. So yes, in life there's a lot of things we have to accept. When it comes to opportunity of doing what Eibusha wants, to doing something good, it should really bother us to the extent that we should cry out Lama Nigadav. Really, person can say, was the Eibusha's will, so I lost out the chance. But no, what Eibusha really wants, we know Chassidus is a term, Raiva the Chol Raiva, and this is the will of the will. The Eibusha's revealed will might have been whatever happened. But there's the Raiva, the Chol Raiva, and the deeper will is he wants you to cry out to the Eibusha. The Eibusha wants you to cry out that it should bother you, and then you'll bring out even a deeper will. You'll create a new will, or another way of putting it, you'll reveal an even deeper will. That the Eibusha is going to create a new opportunity for you, and because of you, for everyone else. The lesson applies in every matter of Avodas Hashem. There's nothing that is lost, but we always have a second chance. Particularly if it bothers us at the extent that we cry out, Lama Nigada, why should we lose out? The Eibusha will give us a second chance. But particularly regarding the Gula Hasidah, regarding the future redemption, which is the biggest thing that we lost physically and spiritually, so many opportunities during the time of Galus, a person could say, listen, this was the Eibusha's will. The Eibusha has his cheshbonos, his different reasons for Galus, different reasons for the things that happened. So let me not mix sin. So we say no, every Jew 3 times a day, during the weekdays and Shabbos and Yom Tov. We also mentioned it in our davening. He davens from the Eibusha, he should bring Mashiach. And he's not satisfied with the status quo. He doesn't accept it as an excuse that that's what the Eibusha wants. So a person could say, what's going on over here? If the Eibusha puts us in Golus, that's the Eibusha's will. So the answer is true. It could be that's the Eibusha's will. But there's the inner will, there's the real will of the Eibusha that is waiting for you to come and reveal as the Mashiach should come. And when you demand it with an emes, that brings out by the Eibusha that will is revealed. So that's regarding the lesson we learned from Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni, also as the days of Sfira in general are connected with Avos Yisrael, Pesach Sheni is also connected with Avos Yisrael. How do we see that? Like I mentioned before, that what a few Jews missed out and what they demanded by the Eibusha, because of them all the Jewish people were given a new Yom Tov. So we see that what a few Jews do could affect all the Jewish people as a whole. The idea of Avos Yisrael is also connected with this week's Parshas Emor. Emor literally means to say, to speak. Now, it must be a lesson just in the word speak. What is the lesson about speech? We know about regarding Torah. The Torah tells us v'tibarta is a mitzvah to say words of Torah, but that's obviously not the lesson of Emor. We must be talking about something else. We're not talking here about the words of Torah. So the Rebbe explains the interesting thing that the lesson of Emor is that there's a certain type of speech that just the speech itself accomplishes. Now, there's a positive and a negative here. The negative thing, we learn the positive from the negative. The negative speech that accomplishes something just by mere speech itself is Lashon Hara. When we say something negative about someone else, it badly affects the person. How does it affect a person? So on the simple level, we could understand that it affects the person because gossip, rumors could have a bad effect. Other people might distance themselves from him, they might hurt him, whatever it is. But even if the person, nothing is going to happen to him, though no physical or verbal abuse or anything will be done to him as a result, nevertheless, we understand from the words of our sages that the mere fact that he said Lashon Hara about him already is hurts him. Why is that? Because when you say something negative about someone, that itself brings out the negativity within him. The Chachamim tell us you should judge a person favorably. What does it mean you should judge him? You're not judging him. You're judging him in your mind. How are you really judging him? But no, when you say something about someone else, you're really passing a verdict over him. You're really accomplishing something, like passing a judgment in a court of law, that you're creating a verdict that this person is evil, and that brings out the evil within the person. So conversely, we know that good things are much stronger than negative things. The idea of Emor is that we should speak about the good of someone else. And merely speaking about the good of someone else, that itself brings out the good that he has. And the Rebbe explains that in the case where you see someone doing something negative, there's a few approaches. One way is the simple approach. The basic approach according to Torah is that you rebuke him. There's standards of Torah, how you rebuke him. You're not allowed to embarrass him publicly, etc., but you rebuke him. A higher form of rebuke, or I don't know if you even want to call it rebuke, is that you speak to him about his good qualities in a way that itself negates the negative. Instead of telling him you did this, you did that, you speak about how good you are about this, about that, and if you know how to do it well, you're able to completely overlook the negative thing, but the person, you're not ignoring the negative. You're actually, by speaking about the positive comes out in a way that the negative thing dissipates. Furthermore, the Rebbe says a deeper thing is when you look at someone else and you see something negative, which seems really truly negative, that itself is a positive. Why? Because Eibusher gave someone a negative characteristic, it's only because that person was really given the abilities to overcome it. So when you see something negative about someone, Torah tells you to train yourself not only to try to bring out the good, and that should automatically, take away the negative, but realize that negative itself means that he has something that you don't have. He has a quality, special koiches to overcome that negative trait. That's what it means. You should judge someone favorably. L'chavs chus. We translate as favorably. L'chavs chus means that you should see it as a schus, as something positive. That even the negative thing you should see as positive. That's one way of understanding it. How is that? Because the fact that he has a negative thing, don't look at the negative that he has. Look at the potential that he has to transform that to a good thing, which the Eibusher gave him specifically, not you. And then by looking at it that way, you'll automatically only see good. So the lesson of Emor is speaking about the good of your friend and the importance that it accomplishes. And it's a little important point over here. Some people, they're not gonna hate someone. They're not gonna, they're not gonna be so nice to actually compliment the other person. To actually, they don't bite them. They don't scream at them. They should actually compliment. They have to actually verbally express the qualities of someone else. They don't feel that there's a need for it. They don't. So Torah tells us no. The Torah says there's extreme importance to speak and to try to bring out the good in other people, and that is by speaking about the good that they have. Now, obviously, if you speak about the good of someone else in front of someone that doesn't like him, that will cause that person to speak about his other things that might not be good. So obviously, you have to use common sense. But the idea is that it's important to compliment someone, to say good things. Don't just keep your love inside of you. Some people, they could love the other person, but externally they have a hard time. They come across cold. Like by the students of Rabbi Akiva, it uses the term they didn't noagukav, it didn't physically show respect. So it's important not just to love someone in your heart, to say words of love, say words of encouragement, words of compliment, try to compliment them on the good things that they do, bring that out, and that will increase Avos Yisrael. And the same thing is with Mashiach. We have to verbally Emor, we have to actually demand and tell the Eibishter that we need this Galus to end, and we should need that everything that was lost in Galus, we should have, should come back in even greater way with Mashiach, and we'll realize then that nothing was truly lost. Everything will be revealed in a way that will make up for everything that was missing in the time of Galus. And we should all be zeicha to celebrate this Shabbos, and we should make the Karban Pesach Sheni, and then definitely by Shavuos we should all be together with Mashiach Tzidkenu, Yerushalayim Yirah Kodesh, take it from Yad Mamish.